Hello, everybody. I am Christopher Ian Bennett. Welcome to Vancouver Film School's Storyteller Studio podcast. Awesome show today. Really, really psyched. This guy is one of my favorite all-time guys. He lives the dream. He's an entrepreneur in one of the coolest industry sectors ever imagined in the world of performance capture. I'm talking to the president and CEO of Beyond Capture Studios, which is a performance capture studio right here in Hollywood North in Vancouver. Graham Qually, welcome to the show.
Wow, that was one of the best intros I've ever got in my life.
Sometimes I build it up. Sometimes I just drop in and we reveal things.
That was unreal.
But these are all true things about you.
I kind of want to record that and wake up to it every day.
You can, well, you see how it looks in post, and when we go to and we publish, and maybe you will do that.
Yeah, and you're gonna. I like how everyone says like awesome show today at the very beginning. Like it could be an absolute train wreck.
There's no way this could go badly because you and I have been friends for a long time, and we are all big fans of what you do at Vancouver Film School. For my audience watching or listening at home, performance capture, a lot of people are familiar with motion capture.
Yeah.
Performance capture is the next level. It's the next tier. This is where we truly capture, in particular, the face and the voice and the really intricate body motion and movement that we see in video games, that we see in feature films, special effects, that we see in all sorts of special, even in virtual reality environments. Performance captures, I think, kind of made famous by guys like Andy Serkis.
Yep, obviously.
Gollum. A lot of the stuff happening, way back when Peter Jackson was doing Lord of the Rings. More recently, you're seeing it in you can't ignore Avatar.
No.
I think maybe put it on the map, and then you get Lord of the Rings. Now it's become mainstream, and yet there are only so many world-class performance capture studios in the world. And you, my friend, built one of them right here in Vancouver.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've got clients from around the world that come and shoot with us, so we really are a world-class performance capture stage. Yeah, that's not just boasting.
You're understating it. It's a world-class facility, and we're going to show some imagery of it while we're talking today so that people can get a sense of it. This is really interesting, too, and I want to, first, for anyone, we're talking to Graham Qually, President and CEO of Beyond Capture Studios, based here in Vancouver. One of the interesting things about this facility is not only are you working on, AAA Hollywood level film features or TV stuff, but you're also doing some of the biggest titles in the video game space. When you're not opening your doors and allowing students at Vancouver Film School to come learn and study this incredible industry, what are you seeing more of? Where's the business mostly? Video games or film right now?
Right now, we are like 70% video games. Video games.
Really?
Massive. Oh, yeah. We're doing a lot of video games. We do TV shows, movies, music videos. We did a couple little medical mocap shoots here and there when we were just getting our feet wet. But largely, we are video games, like a lot of video games.
You started your career at Rainmaker.
I did.
This is really interesting. You start your career at Rainmaker. Then you go and work for a little company called Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You worked there for about 4 years.
Micro game company.
And I mean, these guys, tiny little game developer that's making some of the biggest, coolest games ever. And really, if anyone knows anything about Ubisoft, in particular, I'm a big Assassin's Creed guy. I'm a big Splinter Cell guy. Motion capture is you're at the forefront of it there, and you're one of the most important people in a space that it's critical for. You decide to take a bold step and go it alone and build your own studio.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that decision. Was that easy or difficult to leave the comfort of a nest and success of a group like Ubisoft to go entrepreneurial? That must have been scary.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. Ubisoft, like one of the best companies in the world. Like if I'm gonna gush a little bit, like they take care of their employees. They're paid really well. You get like free games on your birthday, free games on Christmas. They do these
sweet.
They'll be like, who has a joke about golf? And if you submit a joke about golf, you get like these daily emails, and you submit it, and you win a game. They give you like $100 off every console. Like they did really take care of their people, like really, really well. And it really felt like just a collection of really passionate artists that wanted to make really cool stuff together, and all they had was just tons of money backing them. Like it's just it's a fantastic place to work. Like it really was. And I hit just a creative ceiling. Like we were doing some of the biggest titles. Like I worked with Troy Baker and James A. Woods and all these Travis is it Willingham or Willington? Yeah, like worked with him. Like worked on these huge projects with all these amazing people, and it was fantastic. But eventually I started to realize like I was just a medium-sized cog in a super giant machine. And
I don't know if anyone's ever called you medium-sized anything. I would not want to be on your hockey league.
Yeah, it's funny. People always say that, and then I play against guys that are like 6'6", like way bigger than me. But yeah, no, yeah. But I was okay. So I was a chubby cog in a big machine.
No, I'm not saying you're chubby. I'm saying you're a big, frightening man. And that's that's an interesting segue to the fact that performance capture right now, one of the fascinating things that it is allowing the video game space or the world of film and television to do you could never really do before is, and we were just talking about this, you can be, as a performer, you can be anyone. Absolutely. You can go into your performance capture suit and you could be a little Smurf.
Yep.
You could go and you could become, a truck-sized transformer or dragon, whatever that might be. By performance capture, we now have the ability to tell stories where truly the actor is not limited to makeup or even traditional CGI and those kinds of effects of the set or the environment. The rules are completely gone.
Yeah.
That must be so much fun to work in a playground like that.
It's no more evident than the stuff we do with BC Kids Hospital. We do this thing where we get outpatients from BC Kids Hospital. They come in, we suit them up, we get them into the system, we play a little bit of video games with them because we got this awesome video game set up downstairs, like a big 12-foot screen. Yeah. And we play video games with the kids, and then they normally whoop me in something. And then we'll get them to play, like, one of the brothers will play like a 40-foot lava monster, and then his brother plays like a knight or something like that. Or we had this girl playing a princess, and her dad played this rock golem. And they'll totally just live in this world and do whatever they want. It ends up most of the time being a dance-off. Like, most kids just want to do Fortnite dances and stuff like that. But yeah, they do this awesome dance-off. But you're right, like, it literally can be anything. And we're trying to set it up right now in January. We're bringing in a patient and his brother, and the patient is in a wheelchair, so he'll be playing the face of the character, and his brother will be playing the body of it, and then we'll put them together. And so we'll have two people playing one thing, and we're doing this for the BC Kids Hospital, BC Children's Hospital.
What an incredibly that must be a very moving experience too, because and we've talked about this, and I've been to some of your events with those kids. That's the other thing, is you are not limited to the body and the restrictions of what movement you have or don't have. We sometimes think of the stuntman or the martial arts fighter or the choreography of that performance dictating what you're seeing in that newly rendered performance environment. But it also can allow your limitations to be erased.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about having a kid who doesn't even have to appear bound by a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. What a incredible time for it. I've seen the workshops that you've done at Beyond Capture Studios for actors. I've seen you've had Sarah Canning, one of our alumni at VFS. You've had some really great acting coaches come in. There's a whole art to performance capture acting, isn't there?
Totally. It's very different. Like, very different from live action.
And this of course lends itself to it's a genre unto itself that's becoming a new emerging part of it. You could be a stage actor, you could be a TV actor, you could be a film actor, you could be a performance capture actor.
100%.
I've worked with, you and I know Dan Payne, and we've worked with him on a variety of projects. Great guy, awesome actor. I got my first taste of trying to even direct performance capture.
You killed it, by the way.
I don't know about that, but thanks for saying that.
I got the footage.
But it was really that is also a subset for a director, having to understand how to be able to shoot and work with your actors and work with a camera while trying to understand that the environment you are in is no longer it's no longer just in front of you, left, right, or what's around your peripheral. I mean, you could be moving up and down, underwater, in a whole bunch of places, and having to figure out how to do that. Do you find that beyond the technical component of it, there is an emerging group of actors, directors, cinematographers that are trying to get into your studio just to learn how to work in that environment?
Yeah, we do. We get a few people knocking down our doors. They want to, like, some people have said, I've done tons and tons of directing and live action, but I've never done mocap. I need to get in there and I need to direct. I mean, if you have a student shoot, we want in there. We want to see what's the difference. Do you have? If people have asked if we have classes and that for directors to come and direct. Like,
right.
It is absolutely different knowing, like, engine limitations. Like you said, like, you're totally free, bound off of that. Like, we had one guy come in, a director, and we were showing them the virtual camera. You know,
Yeah.
the ability that we can just make you an inch tall and parent you to a person's shoulder to do like a really close-up shot of like a bullet just missing somebody, or make you the size of a blimp and fly you through, you know, a stadium. And he was like, oh my God, you can do this like the snap of your fingers, not having to rent a drone, get a crane, do an arm, whatever. Like he was blown away, and he's been doing film for 40 years. Like for him to see it in mocap, he couldn't even believe it.
That's incredible. I go back as far as, I think the first time where CGI for me became real was Jurassic Park. I think that opening shot when they are at the park and they look over the horizon and you see the brontosaurus and you see the pterodactyls and all that stuff, they're flying around. And I remember thinking, you can't get better than that.
No,
like this is so real,
Yeah.
right? Anything that came before it is like, sure, it's fine, whatever. But this was like real dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to Avatar,
Yep.
and you go, oh my God, it's 3D, you know, especially in the theater, that was an incredible thing, unquestionably. And then there's this sort of, it goes there and everybody's kind of doing that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden you get to the facial stuff like Andy Serkis in Lord of the Rings. You start to see, you know, the Josh Brolin as Thanos.
Oh, I know.
Right?
Yeah,
This integration of the actor truly performing to the point where they could even be eligible for an Academy Award. The micro detail of that performance, talk to me about working with such pinpoint specific technology. Do you consider the bulk of the work you do and the service you provide for all these production companies and projects to be more technical or more creative? Is that a fair differentiator?
Yeah, it is. We're more technical because what we want to do is give you exactly what you shot. Fidelity, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Christopher Bennett's performance. Whatever he did, every emotion he put into it, I'm going to pass that on to you. And then creatively, you can do what you want with it. I don't want to make calls on their end for them. So that's what we're all about. We're all about having the best tech and the best team to be able to take what happened and deliver it exactly as it was onto their character, onto their rig, into their scene. From then on, they can do whatever they want artistically with it, because I don't want to make calls for my clients.
When you take on some of these incredible... First, can we talk about some? Are we allowed to talk about some of your biggest ones from this year?
Sure.
Talk to me about the really exciting ones, because I want people to know these are AAA, like Beyond Capture. You guys are not messing around down there.
Okay, so we can talk about Slightly Mad Studios.
Yeah.
Coming to the UK. We've been working with them for 2 years on like the biggest game, and we've had to be completely mum about it. And it's the new Fast and the Furious video game.
Oh, right.
Oh, huge. They were
Oh,
telling
I
me
hope you
stories
can
about...
show that, because then we can throw the link to a trailer there.
Yeah, December 12th they're announcing it, or so I hear they're announcing it. 'Cause
We'll see. If you're watching this right now, he got the green light.
Well, they just merged with Codemasters to make like a superpower of racing games.
And I mean, this has the actors from the movie.
Oh yeah.
This is as big as the film.
Oh, I heard their VO budget was $7 million, like just for VO, like huge. Like Vin Diesel was in there, Tyrese, like everybody was in there.
I have a funny story for you about Tyrese before I forget. I did something with my wife, and I hung out with him in LA a couple times when I lived in LA. And we got invited to he did a private screening of Annie,
Yeah.
And because, he was buddies with Jamie
The
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx one? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the old school one.
No. And anyway, we went to his house, and where he had this big party, and he was showing people. And we got to go in his like backyard studio.
Yeah.
And in it, he's got, because he's in Transformers.
Yeah.
He had stuff from Transformers. Like he had
cool.
like a actual real helmet from Bumblebee.
Nice.
It was crazy. He had an own recording studio because he likes to be a singer, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Bet you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he raps and sings and all that stuff.
Okay.
And he had all this memorabilia from the movies. And also in his backyard, he had his own Benihanas. But he called it Gibbihana. I'm not kidding.
What?
Yeah, he was a cool dude. He had his own setup. And he called it Gibbihana, and he was gonna license them. And me and Kate sat there and were like, "This could work. And he does it up like Benihana in his backyard. Yeah, and and I remember him saying that he thought he loved being a part of the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Oh yeah.
But I remember him saying, man, I hope they make a video game.
Well, it's happening, and we did it.
That's gonna be nuts. Who you did Gears 5?
Yeah, we did a lot of the face show for Gears of War 5. So they shoot it down in LA.
Yeah,
They shoot it down in LA because a lot of the talent's down there, and then we did a lot of the post for it.
that was a wicked game.
Dude, I loved it.
I'm a big fan of Gears anytime. That was an incredible title. If
fantastic.
you're a video game fan, that's a must-have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
we talk about.
I mean, I don't know. Wait, really funny story really quickly about Tyrese.
Yes.
Apparently, when they were doing the VO, everybody had a rider, what they have to have there. And Vin
I'm
Diesel's
sure.
like super specific.
I'm
and blah,
sure.
blah. And Tyrese's was like, I have to get catering from my favorite restaurant. It has to be there, blah, blah. And they were like, holy fuck, how much is that going to cost, right?
What was it?
It was Red Lobster.
I believe that about him. I believe that about him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he was such a cool dude.
Yeah.
And that doesn't shock me that that's rad. That whole franchise. That's the future, man. Video games, movies, all of it. That's cool.
Apparently, this ties in the last Fast Furious. So you almost have to watch the Fast Furious, play the game, and then watch the new one. It connects them. There's like a plot line that flows through the game that isn't there if you don't go play the game.
It's like that in a Jedi Fallen, Star Wars
Playing it
Fallen.
right now.
What a game.
It's fantastic.
That actor, I'm getting Dominic Montague?
The young kid?
I think I'm getting his name right. I hope I'm getting it right. Dominic Montague, I think. Well, Dylan will give me a thumbs up in a minute if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah.
He plays Cal Kestis, the main Jedi.
Yeah, he does.
He's in Shameless, and he
Yes,
was
he
also
is.
on Gotham. Awesome actor.
Yep. He's the
there-
Joker? Or?
Yeah. And he on Shameless, he's even better. He plays this amazing character. It's a
show.
great show. And he is one of the last living Jedis, right?
Yes.
And so there's another one where it's bridging the writing is bridging the gap from the movies to the video game. It's setting up stuff that will be important in the new franchise.
Yes. Yeah, my teammate David Raposo, he's huge into Star Wars. Like, he watches Rebels and all this other stuff. And every time they introduce a new character, he comes into work and he's like, oh my goodness, this guy's in Rebels and now he's in this. Like, it's connecting everything. Like, the strings are there. It's fantastic.
I want to talk about something I hate about you.
Go for it.
And then I'm going to say something I love about you.
Oh.
I hate, and I want everyone to know that this is the worst part about you, and we need to fix it right away. You have never seen all Star Wars movies. It's true, right?
No. Yeah, it's 100%.
I don't know
true.
if that will hurt your business if people realize this one of the biggest gamer, cool geeks in the movie game business out there. You haven't seen every Star Wars.
Well, let's just dig deeper.
But I want to set it up because you won't say it. I want people to know.
Oh.
You were also scouted to be a pro goalie in hockey.
Oh, man.
And you blame
That's a different
hockey.
life.
Is this true? You blame your almost pro career in hockey for not having enough hours to watch Star Wars?
Yeah, I do. I totally.
bullshit,
I'm
man.
not. I got to blame somebody. I'm not taking the blame. I was like 12 years old, right? Oh, by the way, I'll make this worse. The only Indiana Jones I've ever seen is the Crystal Skull. That's the only one I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I've never seen any of the other Indiana Jones. I heard they're amazing.
Why? Why would you not watch them?
I don't know, man. I just got to find 9 hours to sit down and watch the Indiana Jones. I haven't had it yet. So
You're still really exposed, though. I mean, you're a gamer, and I love that about you, and I think that's great. And you've got a real good appetite for that space. And I think your clients, when they work with you, and the students who get to learn and study under you, they see your passion for that, to translate for those titles. What types of film projects or TV projects influence the way you help the clients and the projects that come to you, or do you allow them when they walk in to define it? I think what I'm saying is a cinematographer has a style. Mm-hmm. When they come into Beyond Capture, are they getting a piece of a Graham Qually Beyond Capture performance studio experience, or do you step back and allow them to define that a little bit? Is that a fair question to ask?
yeah, it is. It's a really good question. So I will say this, and I try not to toot my own horn, whatever the term
You
is,
can
right?
do that here.
Okay, cool. Like, I'm literally the best. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I do get a lot of compliments that people are like, I love shooting with you. Like, they're like, I love it. Like, I've been to, one of the guys that we shot with has been to 9 mocap studios. And he's like, this is the best studio and the best team I've ever shot with. And I'm not just saying that. He's
Yeah,
like,
I believe a
literally
lot of
is.
people. I've talked to a lot of people who work there, and they say that.
Yeah,
about
because for me, it's like, you can't have any fun unless work's getting done. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate wasting time on the shoot floor. Like, I want to make sure everything's efficient. You're getting things done. And then once things are getting done, then yeah, we can have fun. So we kind of have this, when you're here, you're home, but we also tailor everything to the clients. So if they want things done a certain way, they want people quiet, they want this done, we do all that stuff. But at the same time, we make it really fun, really energetic the whole time. And it seems like everybody just wants to get things done. It's more like a team effort of like, yeah, we all have to get this project and make it as good as we can.
Right.
Versus a bunch of superstars or one superstar that everybody's looking up to, you know?
Talk to me about Vancouver Film School. You could have built this world-class studio just about anywhere. Vancouver is obviously a smart place to do it. But to have to have Beyond Capture Studios right here on our campus, for us is like a beacon to the world. If you're serious about this level of cinema, what an advantage for us over any other school. Why did you decide to go that route?
It's a good question. I'll be honest. I went around to a lot of places. Like I went and met with like Costco, Superstore. I met with the Tile Warehouse and Art Warehouse. And I was saying, if you don't need your whole warehouse, why don't you cut back a little bit, sublease me the back end of your warehouse? I'll put a mocap stage in there. And I had to keep bringing in like seismologists and have them read like air traffic and construction traffic. And it was like, oh no, this location's no good. It's right in the flight path. And it was like, fuck, like it was brutal.
That's, yeah, wow.
Oh, it's just me like 4 or 5 times a day, every day for like 3 months, meeting with places and stuff like that. And then I met with a couple schools, and then I met with Ted Gervin, and I met with John Bell here. And we started talking about it, and they had this idea for this embedded industry. Like rather than them taking a few $100,000, building an okay studio, and then sort of like amortizing it over 20 years, and the studio would just slowly get worse. They were like, why don't we bring in a studio? And they were asking me like, oh, do you want to oversee this whole thing? And I was like, oversee it? No. I want to build it. Like I want to be the first one. Like let's fucking do this.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and so
what a facility too.
Oh, we put 1.7 million into the build out. We've invested another like 300,000 or 400,000 since then.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's an amazing facility, but it was just so funny sitting in Ted's office, and then like I was like, I really want to open a mocap studio. And he's like, yeah, we really need a mocap studio. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, but fuck, rent is so expensive. He's like, yeah, we have so much extra space. Like we could put it anywhere. And it was just like everything just clicked.
Space, let's talk about that. If the boundaries are infinite or as big as your imagination from a performance capture perspective, talk to me about the actual physical dimensions of this studio, because for some people I think they might go, wow, this is big. Other people might go, like for a soundstage, it's great. It's a huge size. Mm-hmm. Other people might be envisioning like an airplane hangar. Does it matter? Like, can perform it? Like, why is it the space that it is, and what's the right way to do it? Why does that give you an advantage?
So we're our capture volume is 36,000 cubic feet. So it's a 20-foot high ceilings. And then we're like 40 by 40, so a little bit more, stuff like that. So it's a big space. We do a lot of stunts. We have stunt beams in the ceiling. They each hold 10,000 pounds. Like they're ridiculous stunt beams. And so we do a lot of stunts, a lot of different stuff. I mean, EA is gigantic. I think there's something like 70 by 90 or something, like ridiculously huge.
Do you need it that big? I don't know.
I mean, for them, yeah, they have like a wall of like a basketball court and a football.
But they've got to run down a field.
Yeah, they got to do like actual plays. So they need it, right? So it depends, and like we've done offsite, so we've gone and set our cameras up into like different sports venues and done them like outdoor and indoor and stuff like that. So we've done it. We have the cameras that can do it. They can handle being outside and inside and do larger
You've done
spaces.
Some really cool. You've done puppies.
Yeah, I want to do a kangaroo. We were supposed to do a kangaroo this month, and then we got too busy. So in the new year, we're going to do a kangaroo.
The types of people, there are a lot of people who would love a chance to learn and work for you at Beyond Capture Studios. Talk to me. When I talk to some of your clients who I connected with before the show, that there is an overwhelming feeling that you and your team you're special. They feel that there's a really close, intimate understanding of the project. You're not a huge team. Who gets to work in a dream job like this for you at Beyond Capture Studios? What kinds of people are you looking for as this industry grows and your business grows?
Honestly, the right attitude. Like that's all that matters. I don't really care. Like we hired a girl that had the right attitude, and she was out of like production design. Like she was a set painter, and she was working on mocap stuff because she had the right attitude. Like you have to be able to learn and unlearn and relearn so quickly. That's really important. You have to be able to not take no as an answer. Like if you try and do something and it doesn't, you have to know that failure is just part of the process to success. It's not a blocker in success. And so having the right attitude, I don't give a shit about anything else. Like I don't care if you're not technically proficient in other ways. We can teach you that. I can't teach you to have the right attitude about how to get somewhere. You got to bring it. You have to have that when you come to my door. I can try and foster it and maybe help you out and assist you on that kind of thing. Like I'm reading an amazing book right now called The Obstacle is the Way. It's a fantastic, like this should be mandatory reading for everybody. And it talks a lot about objective and subjective looking at views. And that's what someone has to have when they come in here. Like, I don't want someone that comes in and says, yeah, I couldn't do this, so I just didn't do it. It's like, no, everything's possible. And that's my team.
You've got to have that imagination.
Yeah, that's my team.
Yeah.
I've told my team, hey, we need to do this. And they're like, I don't think there's a process for that. That's what they say. I don't think there's a process for that. And then I come back a few days later and I'm like, I think I figured it out. I think we can do this.
Every day you go into what looks like a white padded room that to some would be an insane asylum.
Yeah, you got to be a little crazy.
But to you and to a lot of your clients, they see the world you're building in there, frame by frame, in these little ball covered suits.
Yeah,
that's a really remarkable playground to play in.
Yeah.
Pro sports, you did almost go and you had dreamed of doing that. Do you find you took very seriously plyometrics and how a goalie in hockey has to be able to move. Is there any overlap into your understanding of movement at such an elite pro level? Do you take that with you? I know I mentioned that because even there's a little bit of an NHL tribute in your studio.
Yes.
For our viewers at home who don't know, tell them what you did there, which I think is you've honored the game at Beyond Capture Studios.
Yeah, we have 3 stunt beams in the ceiling, so I painted the outside 2 blue and the middle one red, just like a hockey rink.
Perfect.
And then we put the Lucky Looney from the 2002 Gold Rush up on the stunt beam. So yeah, because you can go down to a bank and get one of these minted loonies.
Yeah.
In tribute for the Olympics. So we put one up in the middle of the stunt beam. So yeah.
Do you find that what is more important in performance capture, your ability to be an actor and perform, or an awareness of body in the physical space? Like who does better, right?
It's a tough call. That's because I've seen.
I guess it depends. Maybe it's a dumb question because I think it's also about depending on the project. But I have, we've looked at, you and I have done a couple together even, and I've seen, sometimes no matter what they're doing facially in there, if they can't recreate movement, and there's a whole way of acting with that.
Absolutely. It's funny. I say it's a hard question because I've had people come in who have the best attitude ever. Like, you're just like, you need to do this. They're like, oh, I love it. Let's do it. And they throw themselves at it, and then they're awful. Like, they just can't control themselves. They're contorting themselves in weird ways. And you're like, that's not how you swing a bat, or that's not how you swing an axe or something like that. And they're like, okay, how do I do it? And you're like, like this. I go, great. And then they do it again. They're just awful again. You're like, man. So I've had people with amazing attitudes that want to do it. And then I've had people that really can control themselves and do that, and they just have an awful attitude. Like, we've had people tell directors that their ideas are stupid and they'll just do it their own way.
Really?
And you're just like, wow, at what point do I step in and be like, what are you doing, right? Like, so yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call. I mean, it's kind of a blend. You got to be able to take it when the director, and the other thing is things move really quickly in mocap.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing Far Cry Primal at Ubisoft, the same stunt team was doing Suicide Squad.
Right.
And they would come in and do, I think they told me they were doing 9 or 10 shots a night on Suicide Squad, and then they come in on Primal and they do 200 to 300 stunt takes.
Wow.
Like, it's ridiculous how many more you're doing. Like, it's not like, okay, you threw a guy through the glass in live action, redo the glass, move the car, reset the rain, all that stuff. It's just like, oh, you threw him, now pick it up, put the thing, okay, let's do another take. Don't even T-pose. Let's just do another take in this one. It's so much faster. Like, so much faster.
Talking to Graham Qually, President and CEO of Beyond Capture Studios, a performance capture studio, world-class, right here in Vancouver. How do I become a performance capture actor on your Rolodex? You must have a lot of people when projects come to town.
Yeah.
What would it take if I wanted to be a performance actor for your studio? Is this an easy thing? The lineup's got to be down the road. What are you looking for? How does somebody watching at home go, I want my shot? How would they do it?
Everyone thinks it's so complicated. It's not. You come by my office, you put $10,000 on my desk, and then like, we shoot next week. I'll find something for you. Don't worry.
Oh, it's smart.
No, I mean, honestly,
like
like a demo reel definitely helps. Being able to see how the people move, that really helps. It used to be not a boys club in terms like it was only men, but it was an old boys club where it was just like, hey, we have to do mocap. Get Ian Roslow, get Donovan Stinson. Like, that was it. There was just like 5 actors in the city that you just used. Now it's so specific per project. Like when we did, like I said,
But do you work with like an agency and recruit them do your clients bring them with them, and you'll take, like, they must bring to you and go, hey, I need somebody for this or that?
No, okay, so we do all the casting ourselves. So like, I'll give you a good example. Japan.
Yep.
Called us 9 months ago, 10 months ago, and said, "Hey, what's the biggest dude you got? We need a giant dude." And I was like, "Okay, well," and they said, "We got this project. We need a really huge dude. We're going to test some stuff out." And we got him Rob Archer, who I think he's 6'6", 320 pounds, and he has no fat. He's probably one of the biggest dudes you'll ever see in your life. Like, you should put a picture up of this guy. Like, he's just a giant man, right?
Yeah.
And we sent him that, and they said, "Holy jeez, do you have any other people like this?" And we found like Jody Boehm and Julia Budd. Julia Budd's fighting Cyborg in January. Like, we found all these like top tier, super physical people. Called Japan's like, "Okay, book 12 of them. We're coming in," and we shot this massive project with Japan. Like, we do all, because there's so much talent here in Vancouver and Canada. Like, we were able to cast these people that they couldn't find anywhere else in the world.
That's extraordinary. I really want to show some, as you're talking that, I hope people are looking at some of the imagery here, because that is again, this is a whole emerging field of performance that I think, because of the studio you've built, you're creating a whole subset economy on you. There's only so many performance capture studios in the world too. Like, it's and that's a really daunting task. Do you find keeping up with the technology in a space where it's not always obvious to you where the technology is going? Is that a difficult thing? Is that exciting to you because it's allowing you to do what you want, or is that a tricky component to it, anticipating where film and storytelling is going from a technology sense?
It's not terrifying or scary at all. It's actually more relief than anything, because there's things that my team wants to do and they want to do, and they're like, "Hey, this would be amazing if we could do this," and the technology is just not there. Like, we're literally like Tony Stark's dad, limited by the technology of today, right?
Right.
And then you get like patch notes. Like, we got some patch notes today from one of the software people, and it's like, "This finally works," and so now we're able to create that and move on to the next thing. Like, so we're excited by technology moving, because we're always like bleeding edge. We're always staying on top of it. So it's not something that we're like, "Oh snap, like new this is coming out, new that's coming out." Like, we invest into new stuff all the time, and I have a team that wants to do so. That's what I meant about attitude. They learn, and then when the new stuff comes out, they unlearn the stuff that doesn't work anymore, and they relearn new stuff all the time. That's why attitude's so important.
Talking to Graham Qually, President and CEO of Beyond Capture Studios right here in Vancouver. We are so proud to have you here on our campus, because I think you have done what you have done for our students, and by opening your doors and teaching them, you're creating the next generation of future storytellers in performance capture. You're inspiring so many people around you by the stuff you do, and you bring the best attitude, man. I've worked with you. I've seen you in action. You're an amazing guy. Will you come back and do the show again sometime?
100%. What are we doing tomorrow?
Awesome. I may need you if we get an opening.
Cancel, yeah.
But let's get you back in and talk about some of the big projects that come up in 2020, because you've got such a great perspective there, and I would love to share that with our audience.
Sweet.
Thank you for doing the show. Graham Qually, everybody.
Thanks,
we'll see you soon, brother.
Thank you. That was great.